Hi everyone, thanks for enrolling in the course and I welcome you all to this wonderful journey of learning Splunk. I assure you that if you will stay with me during this entire course series, then you will soon be a Splunk hero. In case of any questions or clarifications, you can always reach out to us on our Slack channel or email. So, what are you waiting for? Let's start our journey of Splunk Zero to Hero. Let's take a look at course overview. First, we will introduce ourselves to machine data. Then we will see some tools that can help us in managing it and what can Splunk do with it. Then the basic introduction to Splunk with some industry use cases, and then we will analyze some of the offerings by Splunk. Next would be components of Splunk like search head, indexer, forwarders, and for more you can refer to that self-explanatory red box. After this, it would be downloading Splunk and setting it up. Moreover, with this, we will also look at Splunk apps and add-ons. They might sound similar but have different workings. Finally, we will understand the Splunk interface with some basic Splunk commands, also called SPL, Splunk Processing Language. Then as a bonus, I will familiarize you to some of the important Splunk community links and portals. I've tried to explain the complexities of Splunk in the easiest way possible. Also, I have tried to make this course visually boosted so that concepts are easy to understand and course does not sound boring. As they say, knowledge applied and enhanced. So, following the same, I would like to share my learnings for your benefit. Let's begin. To know Splunk, it is very important to understand machine data first. The power that it has. Machine data is the data or digital information that is generated by machines around us. These machines can be in the form of computers, mobiles, network devices like routers, switches, and even as smartwatches or health fitness bands. Data is new gold indeed and is everywhere around us, in the form of mobile signals or Wi-Fi, and future would be Li-Fi. With this increase in data, companies are going crazy and it is overwhelming for them to manage this data. Don't be taken aback if I tell you that these machine data can give you some of the deepest insights in your infrastructure environment. For example, troubleshooting your infrastructure or investigating the slow performance of your applications or devices. Even financial frauds, marketing and promotions, or IVR phone calls, you can track it all through machine data. Don't worry, we will get to see how to manage it all like a hero. Whoops! This slide is not a mistake, but an example of how machine data looks like. Take 5 seconds and try to understand what it says. So here I have beautifully segregated just 4 logs. What if I tell you that we get millions of machine logs every day? Crazy? Worried? Don't be, as we do have few log management tools that can make all of this machine data management and analysis easy for us. Let's look at some of the examples in the other slide. Some of the most popular log management tools are as following. ELK Stack, that stands for Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana. Sumo Logic, Loggly by SolarWinds, Fluent, Papertrail by SolarWinds, Kraylog, and Splunk. You can also see some of the dedicated security incident and event management or SIM tools that are used to manage security logs and events. For example, you have ArcSight from Micro Focus, QRadar from IBM, and Enterprise Security from Splunk. By now, we have already seen that how machine data is endlessly generating around us. So, next step would be to look at few examples of machine data footprints. Here, footprints refers to a set of traceable digital activities, actions, and events that are generated with various activities on different digital devices. Just to explain it better, I have taken few examples from some of the common interactions that we usually have in our work life. So now let's look at few examples. Cloud. So most of us might be using cloud instances like AWS, Azure or Google Cloud to run few of the instances, to run few of the applications on the instances, to work on few of the POCs. And as a result, every interaction is generating few machine logs. For example, billing related logs, how you are consuming your particular instance and how much do you have to pay for that. So that is also a kind of machine data log that you're generating it. Then, how is the performance of your instance? How is it working right now? What's the CPU utilization and all of it? You can fetch it and you can create a report out of it. The troubleshooting issues, if you have few instances running which are talking to each other, you can troubleshoot them using these logs. Compliance logs and access logs when you are trying to access the instances. And of course, you have networking logs as well. The second example that I have taken is authentication. So when you go to Office, you try to log in your Windows system and you get an error because you have used the wrong password. So that is also something which is going to generate an event, and again this event is getting captured in the log. Then other system logs and the users, you have a lot of users in your system who are accessing different applications. So every interaction will generate a log out of it. Then the firewall, IDS and IPS. So I've combined all of it together because they're little similar in nature, but of course they're very different from each other. So some of the logs that you can see here is block traffic, the IPs that you're blacklisted and the traffic that's been blocked, the application interactions, how it is actually happening, what's the out and what's the in traffic, then the malicious traffic, some of the unknown domains that your employees or the other vendors have tried to access using your network, then packet filters, and then the few signature scans or rules as well you can see from these logs. Industrial control, so you call it ICS, that is industrial control systems, and now machine data is actually helping in better management of ICS. So it gives you visibility to all assets, then the uptime and faults in it, malicious activities, malicious traffic, you can track through it, and even the health check logs, how your instances, how your particular component is performing. And some of the very good example of it would be monitoring in SCADA and PLC. So SCADA and PLC is a new trend, is a new boon in the market, and this machine log gives you the functionality to actually track the activities on that system as well. Then the last and the most common example that I have picked it is network devices and server and web. So I've again combined a lot of different similar nature logs into one box, and they are the device health. You have several different devices in your infrastructure, so you can see their health, you can see their error logs, you can monitor them, you can check out the access logs, and then you have huge data with you which is not properly it's not properly tabularized or it's not properly structured, so it gives you the functionality to run your analysis on that as well. And then of course the web part is that people are actually using machine data to even look at the promotions that they can actually push to their customers, and how they can manage the customer footfalls. So they actually analyze using machine data when to increase the server capacity and when to make it more robust. So this is what I have in this slide, and in future we will see that how we can manage all of it using machine data. So let's see. Till now, we have covered few of the essential basics that are required before we start with Splunk. So, we have tried to understand what is machine data and the worries that it can give you. Then we have seen few footprints of machine data and the tools that can help you in managing them better. So now, let's get in deeper and talk everything about Splunk. What is Splunk? Similar to Google.com, it acts like a search engine for the machine data logs within your infrastructure. So you can call it Google of your machine data. Splunk takes the machine data logs that are generated in an IT setup and convert them into valuable and meaningful information. It is the software platform that manages the machine logs and enables us to search, analyze, and visualize the logs by writing Splunk Processing Language or SPL queries. It can fetch the logs of web servers, applications, IoT sensors, computers, network services, RFID tags, and almost all the digital assets that we have around us. Splunk manages this machine data by collecting the logs and then monitoring or analyzing them. Moreover, it also gives us the functionality of representing your findings in powerful visualizations. For example, you can use various graphs, pie charts, tables, or almost any kind of visualizations to represent your data. Splunk has various applications in different industries. Like, some of the companies are using it for infrastructure monitoring and as a SIM tool. SIM means Security Incident and Event Management. It is also widely used in businesses which are dealing with IoT or operational intelligence. I would say that if you are dealing with any kind of business that involves machine data, then Splunk is the tool for you to unleash the power of machine data. By now, we should know that Splunk has a wide area of application in different industries. For example, in investigation, troubleshooting, visualization, monitoring of infrastructure, and many more. So, let's look at few of the Splunk use cases from the industry. One of the leading North American telecom operators is using Splunk to collect and analyze the data logs from web servers, firewalls, IPs and IDS. This enables them in detecting the network abusers and subsequently they can take the corrective actions. For web analytics, Car.com used Splunk to improve key performance metrics on its website so that users can spend more time on their website with low bounce rates. University of Connecticut is using Splunk to analyze security logs and generate a security score based on various security metrics, including use of antivirus and OS patch level. Monster Worldwide, that is Monster.com, is using Splunk software to manage security, monitoring, and compliance effort for its online hosting business. As an IoT product, medical device manufacturer iRhythm monitors remote data through Splunk for checking performance of its products. So by now, we know the different use cases of Splunk, we know what is Splunk, and we also know what is machine data. So I would request everyone to go through internet and try to search little bit about Splunk and its use cases, and you should get more information about it. Otherwise, feel free to write a question to me and I should be able to answer that. See you in the next section. Before we start with practicals of Splunk, let's look at few of the solutions from Splunk. Splunk Enterprise. It has the ability to collect, index, search, and visualize the machine data that we have gathered from various resources. It is installed and managed on-prem. When I say on-prem, it means that the software or technology is located within the physical boundaries of your enterprise. This means that your IT staff has physical access to the data and can directly control the configurations, management, and security of the computing infrastructure and data. Splunk Cloud. It delivers all features of Splunk Enterprise as a cloud-based scalable service. This means that you have most of your Splunk infrastructure hosted in cloud. It provides access to Splunk ES and Splunk ITSI, that's the premium app of Splunk. It is easy to set up and use. You just have to sign up, select your plan, and you are done. Splunk Lite. It is a complete solution for small IT environments to automate log search and analysis. Splunk Lite does troubleshooting by gathering all log data into one common place in real time, and it provides a powerful analysis of data. The last is Splunk Premium app, that is Splunk ES, Splunk UBA, Splunk ITSI, and you do have other apps by Splunk as well. These are add-ins on applications for Splunk that uses correlation models and searches to give you the better insight of your data. When I say Splunk ES, it means Splunk Enterprise Security, UBA stands for User Behavioral Analytics, and ITSI is IT Service Intelligence. So now we are almost done with all the basics that we need to start with Splunk. And in the next section, we'll be looking at components of Splunk. But before that, I've made a word cloud for you that will help you in remembering most of the technical terms that you would need to get started with Splunk. So, pause this video for 5 seconds and have a look to some of the quick terms.